Hey everybody, I'm William.
I'm Kina.
And we are the Nerdy Ways.
This is a setup video for Star Wars The Clone Wars, our latest addition to the Pandemic series of games in our collection. From Z-Man Games, it is a 1 to 5 player cooperative game.
We have our game all set up and we're just going to go through with what we did. The first thing we did was we picked our villain. And we chose Asajj Ventress because she's my favorite out of all of the villains that's there. And I don't think William really, did you care? He didn't care. So we went with Asajj Ventress, and she's tough despite what some would have you believe.
And she's also the starting villain.
That was a coincidence. I didn't know that until after I had picked her, so that was cool. Depending on your villain, there may be some setup things that you have to do to the board, but with Asajj there wasn't any, but there was a exclamation point where we had to take this token,
the reminder token,
and put it right here on the villain deck. So we'll find out later what that is. And the next thing that we had to do, we had to set up our planets with villains on them, and it's just like any other pandemic system where you're pulling cards for different areas and you're putting villains on them. So the first 2 cards that we pulled, we put 3 villains on them. The next
droids.
2 droids. The next 2 droids, and then the next 2 we put 1 droid. William, you want to point out the planets?
Yeah, we have Orgcan Mantrell. Can you give me the deck there?
That would be easiest, right?
So you start out the deck by placing these 2 cards specifically at the bottom of the discard. And then the next 2 cards we drew were Ord Mantell and Sereno. And there, and where's the other one? Oh, right here. Right here in front of us. The next 2 cards were Corellia and Umbra, and they both have 2 droids on them. And then last we had Ryloth and Rodea.
Ooh, and I like Ryloth because that's the home planet for the Twi'leks. Oh, which is my character. We also drew our characters. I did Isla Sakura, simply because she's a Twi'lek. And then you get the corresponding card, hero card.
And I did Anakin Skywalker because of course I did. Because I'm a big Darth Vader guy. And he may be Vader someday later.
But today, just a small fry?
Yep. All right, the next step in setup after choose Jedi is prepare squad deck. Now the squad deck, we shuffled the deck, and then depending on how many players you have in the game, for instance, a 2 to 3 player game, deal 3 cards to each player. In a 4 or 5 player game, deal 4 cards to each player. Now this is a cooperative game, so don't bother keeping your cards secret. You put them right out in the open.
And then we each get our action card, our reference card, that tells us what actions we can do each round.
And then the next step is build a mission deck. And depending on the difficulty you want to go with, we went with Jedi Knight because we've never played this version before. We'll determine how many missions get placed in the mission deck. Once you've placed the number of missions in there, draw the top 2 and resolve them. The first one we drew didn't have any thing when it got drawn, but the second one, the Battle of Kashyyyk, told us to place 2 droids on Kashyyyk. So that's why Kashyyyk has 2 droids. And also mission tokens, the yellow mission token, the orange mission token, and the white mission token correspond with the mission cards drawn. After that, take your first turn. That's pretty much the setup of the game. You're ready to play once you get to this point. Thank you for joining us for the setup for this game. Like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time,
stay nerdy.